What's up, everybody? So, in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to make your own meal plan. So, we will be using the Excel spreadsheet that I actually made. Um, I like Excel for making meal plans because I get to see every single ingredient and every single meal all in one page. Apps are nice for day-to-day tracking and logging. However, when it comes to the initial creating the meal plan, I like Excel way better for that reason. So, it's a free download. The link will be in the description, but that is what we're using today. And yeah, let's get started. And right before I start, let me quickly explain how my sheet works. So, what you want to do is you only want to punch in the amount column and the calorie, protein, carbs, per serving data right there. That's what you want to input. And then I just have it do basic math, multiply by the amounts, and it'll add up here. So let's say you don't want exactly 170 grams. You wanted 200 grams. What you do is go 200 grams, so the amount you're actually using, and divide by the per serving size, and then you get 1.176, so about 1.18, and adjust the macros for you. Anyway, so each of these green rows is the meal totaled. So this is for each meal. And then at the bottom, we have the daily total here. So that's pretty much how it works. I'll go over this in a second. So where do we start with a meal plan? You gotta know your target macros. And to do that, luckily it's very easy. You go to you go to calculator.net and you use the calorie calculator. What you do here is you just fill out the info, age, gender, height, weight, activity, and then you hit calculate, and then you pick one of the target calories depending on your goals. So if you want to lose a pound a week, and by the way, if you're in a bulk, they're listed here. You just have to click that. But if you want to lose a pound a week, you grab this one. So 2049. And we go back to our sheet. You want to paste it here just for, what the hell? Oh, okay. Um, yeah, so just paste it there for reference. It doesn't do anything there. It's just for you to see. And now this is how we like to set up our macros. You don't have to do it this way, but this is the bodybuilder way. So for bulk or maintenance, we recommend a gram per pound of body weight for protein. And in a cut, we recommend 1.2 to 1.5. It's up to your preference, where if you're an aggressive cut, I recommend 1.5, but for a pound a week, you can just do 1.2. So let's say you weigh 180, and you do times 1.2, that's 216. So 216 grams of protein. Now, next, we actually skip to fat because we'll do carbs last. Reason being is the next thing is for fat, we want to do zero point 0.3 grams per pound of body weight. Why? Because we need fat for hormone production, and zero point 0.3 per gram is a safe amount to estimate, per body weight. For obese individuals, you want to use lean mass, whatever your estimated lean mass is. Um, but yeah, use that number. So what we're going to do is zero point 0.3 times 180, 54. So 54 grams of fat. And then finally, so right now we're at 1350 calories. Our target is 2049 to lose a pound a week. So all we do next is we subtract our current calories from the total target. And now we have 700 calories left straight from carbs. So what we do is we divide this by 4 because carbs is 4 calories per gram. So let's just say 175. We don't need to be perfect here. And yeah, so here is our target macros to lose a pound of fat a week. So 216, 175, 54. That is your targets. So, and then here is you can pick your number of meals and then copy and paste these sections accordingly. You don't have to do four. That's what I had. You can edit as you wish. Just be aware you're gonna need to modify the functions here um, if you add or subtract meals, these sections. But yeah, so you want each meal to be roughly 54 grams of protein, 44 carbs, 14 fat. You don't need each meal to be exact, split, even split. Um, we always recommend, spreading your protein out evenly through the day. There's no real point to like eat more at one and eat less at the other. Up to your preference, whatever fits your meals, as long as your totals down here are each of them are within plus or minus five of your macros up here. And fat, ideally, plus or minus three, because fat is 9 calories per gram, not four. So, but yeah, just be close enough to these. Just make sure that, and that's pretty much the only rule for you. All right. But I recommend eating high carbs before and after your workout. So before your workout, you probably want that low fat as well. So digest quicker. Fatty meals digest slower. So I wouldn't recommend 4 eggs 30 minutes before your workout. But yes, so we know our target calories. We have our blank sheet. Now, all we need to do next is figure out what meals we want to eat. Now, take your time on this. Really find what you are going to be fine eating consistently every day, every week for, a few months, right? So, the more time and effort you spend, the more set up you are to be successful in the long run. So, don't rush this. But so either you could, brainstorm yourself or ChatGPT is really useful here. And, especially nowadays, it's been much better at accuracy and yeah, it's great. I highly recommend the actual prompt I'm using for this chat window. I will paste in the description down below. But yeah, you can do great stuff like, simple question, list four easy, meals, high protein, low fat. It'll come up with stuff, but obviously, the more info you give it, so your preferences, the more details you give it, the better, the more you're gonna like the outcome. So right now, that came up with grilled chicken veggie, tuna veggie wrap. That's kind of lame, right? I don't want to eat that. So I tried again. I was using different macros here, but anyways, you get the point. So my macros are this, this, and this. I want to eat 4 meals a day to hit these target macros. Give me 4 meals that all add up to the target macros. And each should be high in protein, low in fat. And I like eggs and chicken. So, be creative here. You don't have to use word for word what I said, but it's pretty damn good ideas. And yeah, so it came up with some ideas with my preferences and it had a nice little table and I would not trust this. It is probably relatively close. Like I don't think this is complete bogus, but um don't just copy this, throw in this sheet and then call it done. All right. What you do next is now that you know the meals you want, you're going to go to Excel spreadsheet and you're going to type in the names of each ingredient. So this is a meal here. I just, chose this. And now for each ingredient, you can go to the website of whatever grocery store you shop at and, search for products. And right now I search for light mayo. Um, and yeah, this website luckily shows nutrition facts. So you go take a look at those and punch it in. You put in the per serving data here. So whatever you see here, punch it in. Make sure you note down the serving size at the end. I don't do any math with it. You could improve it, but currently sheet doesn't do anything with it. So that's just for your reference where like I said earlier, maybe you don't want to use 1 tablespoon. Maybe you want to use half. But anyways, it'll do the math for you. So at the end, here, I'm not going to go through all that. It'll take some time. But, put in the correct amounts, make sure it adds up, and at the end, you should fill out this sheet, and all these three numbers should add up to the target macros. Now, one important point here, guys. Um, Most likely, I'll probably guarantee you your total, everything else is going to be pretty close, but your calories might be a little off and maybe a lot off depending on what products you chose. And that is because the food labels are allowed to be 20% incorrect. And, they're allowed to kind of manipulate the calorie calculation. One good example is keto products. So, keto bagel is famous. So, keto products, one bagel, 70 calories. How the hell is that possible? When, calories, carbs is 4 calories per gram, proteins 4, and fats 9. you know, 37 times 4. We could just literally take 37. That's 148. How the hell is it 70? Well, that's just food labels, guys. So just don't stress the calories. For keto products, what they do is they actually, so you see 32 grams of fiber. How they calculate the total calories is they take 37, the total carbs, and they subtract the carbs from fiber. The argument is that you don't actually absorb the calories from fibers or very little. In reality, you absorb less, but there's still calories there. And yeah, so, bang, 5 calories. Or wait, no, 5 grams, and then you multiply it by 4. Okay, we're getting, their argument is you're only getting 20 calories from the carbs. But yeah, long-winded way to explain. Don't stress about if the total daily doesn't add up to what this is. This is the true calorie number calculated by the calorie per gram. Just make sure your protein, fat, and carbs, they all are within plus or minus 5 of your targets. And that's all you got to do. And yeah, just take your time. Make something you enjoy that is gonna, don't rush, all right? Don't, just crank this out just for the sake of so you can start a diet ASAP. You're gonna be a lot more successful. You're gonna lose a lot more weight if you take your time and really make a good meal plan and then you milk it for months. Like you really run it and you stay on it consistently. So, I hope this helped. If you found this helpful, please leave a like. If you want to see more valuable content like this, subscribe. And yeah, thank you for watching.